You know, I didn't want to bring this up, but let's just talk about the elephant in the room. Can you guys believe they almost raised the price of Costco hot dogs? Man, thank God the co-founder was ready to beat up the CEO if they ever did so, huh? With the launch of Final Shape, Bungie decided to shake up the economy in Destiny 2 by removing all sources of legendary shards in the game, and that includes any shards that people had previously saved up. It got to the point where people had so many shards stockpiled that it virtually ruined any resource economy in the game, to the point where people just treated everything like toilet paper because they had so much of it. Now, partially this was because there were a couple of bugs in the game which allowed you to stockpile insane amounts of shards through a glitch, and I'm not calling anybody out, but leopard. And when a lot of people are rolling around with deep pockets to the point of where they could just throw shards at it, or, at the very worst, convert shards into a different currency that happens to be locked behind a different resource, well, it kind of just makes resource management trivial in the game. And to be fair, that kind of had to be addressed because it was just going to keep ruining the game going forward. So what did Bungie do? What did they do? They said, hey guys, we'll give you a couple months to just blow through your entire stockpile of shards, which, by the way, would just take 12 years by clicking your mouse if you're not using a macro. And then after that, when Final Shape launches, we're just going to snatch the rest away from you if you don't spend them, and we're going to replace them with, Glimmer. Going forward, basically everything is going to cost you Glimmer. You know, occasionally you have to throw in maybe an engram of some sort for a vendor, but the majority of the time it'll cost you some Glimmer. Not too much though, you know, maybe just your left kidney. But hey guys, don't worry. We know that it's going to cost you about 3 mortgages to open some engrams in the future when Final Shape launches, but that's why we're also going to raise the cap to Glimmer to a staggering 5 mil... What's that? There's an extra 0 here? 500k. That's it? Where'd the rest of it go? Is it an Eververse? Now I actually have a solution, well, a temp solution to the Glimmer poverty crisis going on in the game right now that I'll share with you guys in a second. But first, let's take a look at just how catastrophic these changes are currently in the game. They went from being able to convert your shards to Glimmer, or shards to enhancement cores, or planetary mats to either of those, to just having everything be centered and catered around Glimmer. Now, let's take a look at some of the new pricing in the game these days after Final Shape launched. We got raid banners costing us 4,000 Glimmer or 40,000 for a 10-pack, like I'm shopping at Walmart. We've got vendor items costing us 3 engrams and 5,000 Glimmer for the current weapons and armor. Now, if you want to go back to legacy stuff, it's going to cost you 3 engrams and 15,000 Glimmer instead. Oh, don't worry, I didn't forget about comp either. For comp, if you want to try to get some of these weapons, it'll cost you 3 Crucible engrams and 25,000 Glimmer instead of 15,000. And lastly, we have Zavala. We have the Nightfall weapon rotation costing 5 Vanguard engrams and 25,000 Glimmer. The weekly Adept, it's 1 engram, 50,000 Glimmer, and 10 Nightfall Ciphers. By the way, you get 2 Ciphers per run, so this is 5 Nightfalls worth on top of the 50k and the engram. Then Saint 14, we have current weapons costing an engram and 25k Glimmer, armor costing an engram and 20,000 Glimmer, and then legacy weapons costing 3 engrams and 25,000 Glimmer per. And hey, let's not forget about crafting, everyone's favorite mechanic in the game. If you want to craft a weapon, it'll initially cost you 35,000 Glimmer and 6 enhancement cores, but then, once you actually craft it, you need to level it, right? Eventually, you hit a roadblock of where it's 25k per level. Let's say I wanted to own the world's worst law signal, and I wanted to put Quick Draw 1 for All on it. If I wanted to do that, it cost me another 2 alloys, plus 30,000 Glimmer, plus 4 enhancement prisms. Lastly, we have Lord Salad Dick. This is the one that is rustling people's jimmies the most currently, I feel like. This is because of the new rocket sidearm that came out that is stasis-oriented with Chill Clip, and it costs 1 engram and 25,000 Glimmer. Now, here's the bonus. On an average reset, in my experience, which I've done 4 already for this event, you get roughly 31 engrams per reset. That could be a little high or a little low. You know, there is RNG involved in all of that. But let's say 31 engrams for a reset, which would take you, what, a couple of hours, right? Now, let's say you want to decrypt all 31 of your engrams, right? So to decrypt all of them, you're going to need a whopping 775,000 Glimmer. That is already past the cap of how much Glimmer we can currently hold. So the engrams you just grinded out for, you can't even open all of them because your Glimmer is capped at 500k. And guess what? While you were farming that first reset, you under normal circumstances would not even get 500,000 Glimmer from the engram grind on its own. You would have to go get more Glimmer after you hit the 500k from another source. So, like public events, you know, just like 22 heroic public events, that's all. Now here's the thing. I actually don't mind things having a high resource cost in the game to grind towards. If you want to, you know, target farm something, here's the cost, here's how you need to grind for it, go ahead and do it if you'd like, right? That's totally fine. The issue lies in that there's a super high resource cost that you need to continuously dump your resources into, while at the same time having a ridiculously low ceiling for how much you can hold at once. Basically, what I'm trying to say is you're always going to be chasing the Glimmer because it'll cost you much more time to actually get enough Glimmer to convert for your engrams than it is to actually get your engrams. So we got two problems. One, our storage max capacity is way too low. You can't even save enough Glimmer for events like IB with opening engrams because our capacity is just 500k. So the first easy slam dunk is going to be just increase the Glimmer cap to 1 million or higher. That should be an easy layup for Bungie. The other issue is, let's say you don't care about the cap, right? You can just spend your Glimmer and then build it back up. The problem there is that the ways to fill your Glimmer back up in traditional normal methods is incredibly slow and tedious. You get a couple thousand Glimmer here, a couple of thousand Glimmer there. It'll take you several hours to build it back up. Not even to capacity, just a couple 100,000 back. Like I mentioned with the 22 heroic public events earlier, right? Well, what if I told you I have the perfect solution for you? In fact, you've probably already watched it on screen as you're listening to this video. Here's my method to getting roughly 150,000 Glimmer in about 10 minutes worth of time, and it's super easy. Step number 1, on your Ghost, put the ultimate Glimmer booster on as one of your mods, and make sure it's the final 6.1, which will give you an increase of 65%. Step 2, head over to Ido's Meth Lab and make sure you craft a bunch of large tonic of Glimmering. This thing is goated. It is extremely underrated. Anytime that you complete an activity, so let's say like Strikes, Gambit, Crucible, etc., or complete encounters such as dungeon encounters, so when you're farming a dungeon, you will get anywhere from like 15 to 17k Glimmer, right? But also, if you're doing an activity with lots of ad density, you getting kills also can proc this and give you another 15 to 17k Glimmer. Now with that in mind, let's go to step 3. With your Ghost mod in hand and you snorting your tonic, you're going to want to go and launch the Breach executable activity from the previous episode that can be found in the Helm HUD. Now this can be done on Standard or Expert Private if you want to go in solo, which technically can benefit you, but I personally run Expert here because I think it gives you more Glimmer overall. If you want to run Standard, that's totally fine too. The main objective here, though, is going to be simply do the LBJ of the activity and try to fill that progress bar on the bottom left of your screen. All you gotta do is just pick up cubes. These can drop from just doing the objectives that the activity tells you to do, or maybe killing certain enemy types. Once you do that, and your entire progress bar on the left side of your screen is full, simply go dunk it into the machine, and it'll give you a shower of Glimmer every single time. Occasionally, there'll be a golden cube that drops. You can take that cube to the machine for an instant dunk for another shower of Glimmer. You can do this many times throughout the activity, and if you go in solo, like I mentioned earlier, you can just keep doing this on your own and pumping your own Glimmer without worrying about your teammates progressing the encounter too fast. On top of this, you also get a reward of Glimmer for just completing the activity, and as I alluded to earlier, we have the Glimmering Tonic on, so you get a bonus of Glimmer from that as well. And the gear that you get at the end of the activity can also be dismantled for 1,000 Glimmer each, which means you stack another, like, I don't know, 5 to 10,000 based on the amount of gear you get. And you can get that from the 2 chests at the end of the activity, as well as dunking into the machine on the right, giving you like 3 legendaries and an exotic. Overall, playing with just complete blueberries, random people on random matchmaking, I've been able to consistently get about 150,000 Glimmer per run in roughly 8 to 10 to maybe 12 minutes if it's a bad run. That's it. Imagine how many public events you would have to do to get 150,000 Glimmer compared to this. And also taking like 45 minutes to an hour by comparison as well. So while the Glimmer economy is currently a mess and hopefully it gets fixed soon, this is your perfect solution to your Glimmer poverty problems. If you're still trying to grind out that IB sidearm, then this is perfect for you to get 150k every 10 minutes and not have to struggle for Glimmer for each one of your engrams. Anyway, that's it. I can't believe I just made a video on Glimmer. Hopefully this has helped you guys out for those that need Glimmer, and if you did enjoy the video, please consider subscribing today. It does help the channel grow and is much appreciated. And if you want to go the extra mile, you can leave a like and a comment below as well. If you don't know what to leave as as a comment, you can leave Glimmer as the comment. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.